Okay, welcome to the town board meeting on Thursday, February 4th, 2021. Roll, please.
Supervisor Perotti?
Here.
Council members Doyle?
Here.
Gutierrez?
Here.
Morris?
Here.
Samoji?
Not yet. I'll let you know when she gets in.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're having a presentation of community solar, of a community solar overview by USource Energy. Do you gentlemen like to introduce yourselves and start the presentation?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys very much for having us tonight. We're excited to present community solar to your town and show you some of the benefits that it can provide you. So with that, my name is Jeff Baxter. I'm an energy advisor with USource, and joining me tonight is my friend and colleague, Steve Berndorf. Steve has more than a decade of experience as a solar exec developing, financing, and advising projects for municipalities, school districts, and commercial and industrial organizations. So with that, I will turn it over to Steve so he can say a few words, and then we can present the PowerPoint. Would you like me to share my screen?
Please.
Okay, we'll do.
And hi everyone, thanks for having us. Thanks Jeff for the kind intro. That's the nicest intro I've had in a long time. Yes, it's true. I've been in solar for about a decade, 12 years actually. And just to comment quickly, I began my career as a developer of solar projects and a financier, so I spent a lot of time building these projects. I've recently come over to USource and as an advisor, sitting on your side of the table. And I think that gives me and us a unique perspective in thinking about projects, how they get built, what the benefit is to you all, what the risks are, and then most importantly, how to think about and quantify risk and protect your downside there. So that's all I'll say there. But if it's okay with you, we'd like to go through this presentation quickly. Is there a certain amount of time allotted? I can be quick or long or however, what's the expectation here?
Just go ahead and do the presentation.
Okay, very good.
And then you could entertain any questions that we have.
Okay, sounds good. And please,
Steve, it's a little difficult to hear you. I don't know if you can get closer to your mic or something. Or...
Let me try this. Is that better?
Yep.
That's better. Okay. If you can't hear me, let me know, and we'll figure something out. And I don't know what the rules are. It seems like a pretty interactive meeting, so I would encourage you, if you have questions, please interrupt and ask. But I like to think of this as a dialogue. It's an education, a chance for us to share what we know and answer questions that you may have. So please don't hesitate to ask questions. Next slide. Thanks, Jeff. So just quick, is everybody familiar with community solar? You've heard of it?
We're not really familiar with it, so enlighten us.
I'll start from the beginning, and I'll kind of keep it high level. And again, we can dig into the policy or that, again, whatever you guys like. But effectively, community solar, the good news is that it's pretty simple to understand, and the program is very well defined. It's a New York State program run by NYSERDA, New York Sun. It is well regulated. It dovetails with the legislation and regulation enacted by the state to achieve very aggressive RPS, Renewable Portfolio Standard goals, which mandates carbon-free energy and promotes the development of renewable assets like solar, wind, hydro, etc. And so the good news there for you all is that it is a well-regulated, well-run program. So in the state of New York, we're anticipating over the next 5 to 10 years, about $6 billion of investment from outside capital building these types of projects as a result of this legislation. It is a regulatory framework which gives the investment community the security to invest. And that's a good thing for the program and the state. And you all. Effectively, the way it works is that the developers through this program, capital, are attracted and they build solar arrays off-site. So this is a virtual program, off-site. There are no panels on your land or property. Well, we'll go there in a sec. There could be, but there's no requirement for panels there on your buildings, construction, anything like that. This is a virtual program, and it is a financial transaction. And effectively, through this investment, and you've probably seen a lot of these arrays. You're driving around on top of landfills, by the side of highways, things like that. You may have noticed those around the state. And effectively, clean electrons are added to the grid. You as a customer or an offtake, a subscriber, you will subscribe to a particular array built by a particular developer, and you receive bill credits. Typical savings are around 10% of bill. Technically, it's what's 10% of VEDR credit, which is the program name, but it's about 10% of your bill. And frankly, that's it. It's one of these programs that sounds almost too good to be true. You sign up if you can find an appropriate project, and you typically get 10% off your bill. It is completely financial. There's no panels on site. The risk is very controlled and mitigated. Devil's in the details, of course, but really that is the punchline. You sign up, you enable solar renewable energy, and you save about 10%.
Can I just ask one question? So residents who are listening to this program might say to themselves, can't I?
We're not live streaming.
Sorry? Oh, anybody might ask themselves,
Yeah.
can I do this at my own home, or is this just for the town of Amenia that all of this that you're saying is relevant only to municipalities?
Yeah, that's a great question, Vicki. Thank you. And in fact, for the purpose of this conversation, I think we should look at this through the lens of the town, right? How can this benefit you? However, I will say that if you guys, as part of this RFP process, should you choose to move forward or you want to explore it, we can also say to these developers who are very interested in residential subscribers as well, we could say, hey, can you develop a programmatic approach for residential community members for the town of Amenia, and we could incorporate that as well. So the developers, they want to sign up as many people, businesses as they can, and the program actually facilitates it. So it's, let's say there's a particular array that you would subscribe to. It's just to put some numbers on it, it's typically like a 7 megawatt array, which is around $10 million. 40% of that can be allocated to businesses and towns, and the balance, the 60%, goes to consumers and residential customers. And so there will be a way, if you guys want, to programmatically develop something for your constituents and citizens. So great question. Again, as I touched on, the benefits of community solar, again, it's a well-established program. That's important. This isn't the Wild West. This is state-mandated, regulated program. No need for roof or land space, right? This is a virtual transaction. There's no upfront or out-of-pocket cost for you. You are allowed to just sign up and receive the benefits. You typically save money, 10%. That's an index number, so you're never going to be underwater, right? You're always going to save relative to VEDR credit to bill. And, you're enabling solar in the state. So it's, it feels good, and it's good for, we believe it's hopefully you all do too. It's good for the community, the environment, so on and so forth. Okay, let me pause there. Any quick questions? Okay. And I lost the presentation, Jeff, but I still have.
When you're coming into Zoom, shows off.
Jeff, are you still there? Are you still presenting the deck?
We may have lost Jeff, which is what happened.
Hi, I'm back, guys. I can hear you, but I was out for the last 5 minutes. I'm so sorry.
No worries. We were just chatting. If Jeff, if you need me to share my screen, I'm happy to do that, or feel free to throw the next slide up.
Okay, yeah, let's do that, Steve, if you want to share, just in case I cut out again, because that's the second time it's happened.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so please let me know, everybody, if you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. And so So this next slide is, why you source, why us? And so, hopefully we'd love to work with you as your advisor. And so this is a little pitch for our services and what we do. Effectively we do the heavy lifting. This isn't rocket science. You could go out there and solicit bids yourself. However, solar is very nuanced. This is a largely risk-free program, devil's in the details. So hopefully we can go out as your advisors. We would sit on your side of the table. Your interests are our interests, and we would represent you in the marketplace. And so we would effectively go out there and work with our pool of developers, and that's everybody. So you can tell us who you want to work with. Like we are not representing one developer. We are independent. And we'll solicit proposals. And effectively, we'll share a little bit about your town's usage, your needs. Maybe we throw a residential component in there, something like that. And we get offers back. And we look at them and we think not only about value, and it's going to be about 10%, probably. Could be 5, could be 12, could be 9. But you're going to save about 10% off your bill. But more importantly, we look for things like certainty of credit delivery, right? Solar development, even though this is a well-regulated program, are done by developers. Each project is a $10 million capital project by a developer. And a lot can go wrong there. It's not going to impact you other than, it might take longer to get those credits, but we care about that, right? If you sign up, you want to get your benefit. So we look at things like construction, competencies, interconnection issues, and then we go into more issues like financing, tax equity, back leverage, debt, things like that, where we want to make sure the project will get built. And then most importantly, we want to manage any sort of downside risk. Again, well-regulated. However, there's different termination provisions, lengths, penalties. Oftentimes, they're expressed in ways that you might not understand. For example, if you terminate this agreement, we'll charge you 50 cents a watt. Well, what does 50 cents a watt mean? It's a solar term, and it can actually be, these termination penalties can be very high, especially relative to your savings, right? So there really should be no reason for you to leave the program if you're in it. But nevertheless, we want to think about these red flags and kind of identify them for you. And then finally, we would just help with contracting with a provider. It's important to note that, and there's no cost for us to work with us. So the way, and how do we get paid is the next logical question. We get paid on a contingent basis by the winning developer. And so we put out a transparent fee. It's market rate. It's typically 4 to 5 cents a watt, something like that. Again, that doesn't mean much to people, but it's industry standard. And it's built into the financial model. So it's kind of calculated in there regardless.
Hey, I'm sorry. Steve, give me a second. Vicky, you're sharing your screen. I'm not sure if that's...
Oh, did I lose my screen, or can you see my screen?
Just letting Victoria know.
Okay.
Sharing what?
It's like you're sharing stuff there. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I don't know why it keeps doing that.
All right. So I just, my screen's back up. No cost to work with us. And okay, do you guys see my screen okay? I see some.
Yeah.
Victoria, I have your screen up again.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that.
I don't necessarily need to share my screen, but just let me know. Is it okay if I continue, guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, wonderful. Sorry about the disruptions there. So there's no cost to work with us. We get paid on a contingent basis with transparent fees, but more importantly, we're independent. We bring you bids, we help evaluate them, and you guys choose to move forward or not. So you have complete control. There's no requirement, no obligation to move forward under any condition, we simply bring the offers. And this is how sort of commodity energy brokerage is structured. And the reason that we do this, because we do spend a significant amount of time, it's just a great program. And we believe that the offers that we present to you will be appealing and appropriately risk mitigated such that, you know, you would choose to move forward. There's really not a whole lot of reason not to, but that's a risk that we take and we're very comfortable with that. So no cost, no obligation. And I should say that we've been energy advisors for 20 years. We've served 3,000 different customers, a lot of municipalities in there. We're a subsidiary of NextEra Energy, which is a Fortune 200 company and the largest developer of wind and solar assets in the world. And we're in no way beholden to them to put forward their projects. But we do have that expertise in our DNA. Any questions? Let me pause there because that was a bunch. Okay. The next page really is just a sample of kind of how we would. I'm missing my process slide in this one. Anyway, typically it's about a 4 to 8 week process. We would have a quick meeting with the town. We'd look at your energy usage. We'd put together an RFP. We'll go out to the marketplace. You know, that typically takes 2 to 4 weeks. And depending on where you are, there may be more or less of an inventory, but it's a pretty efficient market. We then do an evaluation, and we would do something like what you see up on the screen here, where we'll look at the various vendors. We'll do an assessment, and we'll try and, you know, in plain English, share with you what we believe are the pros and the cons. And then, you know, the call is yours. It's up to you as a governing body to make a decision about if to move forward and who to move forward with. And really, and then we'll help you through that contracting process as advisors, not as legal counsel, but as advisors with commercial terms and things like that. So that's really it. I will pause there, but that's effectively community solar, how it works, how we can help the town, and what the benefits are for you all. And with that, I'll say thank you and answer questions if there are any.
I think there was some concern about the seamlessness. We're going to be purchasing this energy from the winning, you know, if there is a winning a project that we want to work with, we will be purchasing our energy from them. But the bills that we get through NYSEG, will there be any delay or any change in our bill? We won't have to pay 2 bills. We'll pay 1 bill for each utility that we've always had. In other words, you won't see a difference in the savings. Is that correct?
Yes and no. Yes and no. So, you know, a little bit it varies, and it depends on the utility, how you're set up right now. Typically what we like to do is you get the savings on everything on your NYSEG bill. So if you're currently dual billed, I don't recall if that's the case, but we'd like to put, or you should put for your own benefit, all the energy charges from your wholesale supply on 1 bill. And then you will effectively, whatever's on that bill is what you'll get credit against. And so you will receive, for the time being, they're always changing it, trying to make it more efficient, right? Because of concerns like this. Is it confusing? How am I going to pay? Et cetera, so on and so forth. But usually you get 2 bills. So you'll get 1 bill from the utility, which will show what you spend, and it'll have a credit on it. And then you'll get another bill from the solar developer, which shows that credit, and the net benefit to you will be a 10% discount. And so the math adds up. It's just simply, you pay the utility, you pay the developer, and your savings is the delta there. Now that might change to make it easier. You can do this through ACH or automated billing.
We wouldn't do that.
Okay, so you'll just pay it manually, which is just fine as well.
One quick question, Steve. We have 2 lighting districts, which are, you know, special districts, but technically separate from the town. Have you worked with municipalities to include not only the town meters, but also special district meters like we have here?
Yeah, absolutely. And Damien, I gotta say, I love your hair, but I also love your background. That's such a cool room you've got there. I'm envious.
Thank you.
Yes, the more the merrier. If you have other jurisdictions or municipal entities that report to you or through you, you somehow want to aggregate with other towns, that's great. And in fact, sometimes you can get a better value or deal doing that. So if there's sort of special considerations, something you want to think about, we'd be happy to include as many bills meters as possible. So yeah, that's a great question. And part of what we do in the initial process, we go through we do a quick kickoff meeting where we start to talk about the town's energy and your needs and how you want to approach this. And then we'll develop the RFP to suit those needs specifically. So yeah, good question. Thank you.
And then you described the expected benefit as approximately 10%, but no way will it ever cost more than what we're paying now.
That's right.
How is that worked out?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and the program rules are somewhat complex. And the way it's most every community solar provider out there says you're going to save 10% off your bill. And that's largely true. I mean, it's not deceptive or disingenuous in any way, but technically you're saving 10% off the VDER credit. And you guys can do a search for VDER, which is VDER, the value of distributed energy resource. This is the official metric that's developed by NYSERDA and the New York Sun program. It's a fairly lengthy calculation based on 5 inputs: environmental benefit, grid, demand, capacity. But the punchline there is the VDER rate closely approximates your energy rate. And so while there may be a slight variation, it's going to be about the same as your per kilowatt hour rate. And so because it's a discount to VDER, to your rate, you are always, you're never at risk of paying more than you would be paying from the, prevailing rate on the utility. But, I'd be happy to go into that more. I would encourage you to look up VDER and the VDER program. But technically, yes, it is 10% off of VDER. And then any bid that we bring in, we would actually have them tell you what the VDER credit value is. So different solar arrays actually have different VDER credit values, and they're all roughly the same, 7, 8, maybe 9 cents. Some are a little more, some are a little less. But that would be part of our diligence and evaluation. What is the actual number? What is the actual credit?
Thank you very much for your presentation. You've given us a lot to think about. And, we'll be studying what you presented and decide if we want to make this change.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks very much for your time, everybody. We appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free to email or call myself or Jeff anytime. We'd love to work with you, and thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. And as Steve said, feel free to reach out. We are happy to answer any questions. So thank you and have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I think Steve is still on. Okay, now that we've had our presentation, next on the agenda is the supervisor's report. Number 1, Lavelle Road Pump House and Generator Upgrade. Town of Amenia engineer John Andrews is completing a cost estimate for the pump house structure generator, electrical system, and controls upgrade. All repairs and upgrades in the water district, which is a special district, have to be paid out of the water district fund and are not allowed to be paid from the town general fund. 2, Altice franchise agreement negotiations are still in progress. 3, DEC EFC wastewater planning grant. Assembly Member Barrett, Senator Serino, and Congressman Delgado have sent the town of Amenia letters of support for this grant as requested by Supervisor Perotti. These letters have been forwarded to Aaron Moore of Ty and Bond, who is submitting the grant. New York State Employer Mandatory Emergency Plan. The town of Amenia is working with Timothy Recker, Principal Consultant with Emergency Preparedness Solutions, who is preparing a plan pro bono and in compliance with the new New York State law. Town of Amenia, COVID-19. The Amenia Town Hall will remain closed, but will be available to departments by appointment. Department extensions are posted on the front door. There is also a doorbell to the left of the main door. Each department is also available by phone, mail, email, and secure lockbox on the building to the left of the front door. Town board and other meetings will be held by Zoom. Public comments for town board meeting can be made by email or mail sent to the town clerk, who will read them at the meeting. Public hearing meetings will be set up by video, telephonic conferencing advertised with information about how to attend. Court administration has ordered court in-person appearances adjourned until further notice. Please continue to wear face coverings and be mindful of social distancing. Also remember to not touch your face, wash your hands often, and use hand sanitizer. Be well and stay safe. Town clerk report.
Good evening. I report to the board and the public as well that the local share remitted for the town clerk's office for the period of January 1, 2021 through January 31, 2021 was total amount of $612.70, with the local shares being remitted to the supervisor's office in the amount of $574.70. In regards to our tax collection this season, to date, as of this afternoon, total amount collected, $1,485,183.29, with a remaining uncollected balance of $4,925,928.92. So our percentage collected thus far is a 23%, or 478 parcels out of the 1,996 parcels. I acknowledge receipt, as the board members all have in their packets, the January monthly report for the building department. Building department, for their permits, they've issued 10 new permits totaling $4,609, along with 2 renewals in the amount of $262.50. As they continue their certificate of occupancy searches for the month, they completed 12 searches totaling $1,875. In addition, there was a vacant property registration in the amount of $250, along with a fireworks permit for $150, bringing the total of the building report $7,164.50. Should there be a zoning report, it'll be followed up to us from Judy. I share with the board, we did receive 2 public comments for this meeting. The first one being from, actually both public comments being from the same individual, Stacy Mantle. Ms. Mantle has presented to the supervisor that she wanted to reach out and convey her thanks to the Amenia Town Board and the numerous town committee members and citizens advocates that worked tireless over the past decade on behalf of the WASAFE Trail to Train project. As a result, the trail is beautiful and the reception has been fantastic, and the use of the warmer months prior to the winter was impressively high. With all of the use and the new traffic in the hamlet, some members of the committee, specifically being, she's referencing the Amenia Democrat Committee, have noticed an increase of trash along the trail, and especially at the picnic tables across the road. They would like to offer to sponsor the trail in a manner similar to the state Adopt a Highway program. At minimum, on a quarterly basis, members of the ADC would organize trash and litter cleanup days, inviting the public community to join. We would also cover the printing cost of signs on either end to encourage folks not to litter and to acknowledge ADC's commitment to maintain it. This sign would be of course, design and produce in collaboration with the town, and the town would have the ultimate approval. If there's any way that the Amenia Democrat Committee can contribute to maintaining this wonderful new asset to the town, please let them know, and do not hesitate to reach out to her with any questions. So I'm not sure if the board wanted to open that up for discussion at this time.
I think it was a wonderful offer. And we could certainly use the assistance from the committee, and I don't see any reason why we couldn't do that. Is there anything we would have to do, Ian? If we wanted to allow them to adopt the Wasatch Trail, the train, and be responsible for cleaning it. Is there anything in particular the town would have to do?
I would have to research that and find out if there are any additional requirements that we would be obliged to undergo for that.
Because the town owns the trail, so.
Okay, so we can add that to the agenda item if possible for the next meeting. Also following up, we have another public comment this evening. She says, good evening. There is a lot of frustration regarding Altice and its contractual negotiations with the town of Amenia, and rightfully so. There is a promising option that the town should be made aware of and explore. More than 900 communities across the U.S. are currently served by municipalities, communities, and tribal broadband networks. These networks maintained by city governments, tribal nations, rural utility corporates, and other local institutions create public options for broadbands that challenge incumbent private providers by delivering high quality or more affordable internet and reaching a more undeserved communities than the private providers. I asked the town to set up a committee to explore this great opportunity. In the meantime, have contracts on a yearly basis or an escape clause where the town will not be penalized for ending the contract. And she also attached two supporting articles. This email was forwarded to all the board members. I don't know if you guys have had the opportunity to review and provide comment to Ms. Mantle. No. So I'm going to take this moment just to let all of our residents know, following Facebook and social media, talks in the grocery store, we talk about that we're still closed and we are having our town board meetings here via Zoom. Zoom is not only being broadcast live, it is via the internet, it is also being broadcast live on channel 22. It does air multiple times on channel 22, and then it is here in the library on our website at ameniany.gov. We do welcome public comment. We do encourage public comment. Board members are here to hear your comments firsthand, and I welcome you to continue to email me at townclerk@ameniany.gov. As I always promise, I forward your comments, good, bad, or indifferent, to all of the board members and give them the opportunity to respond to you. So please keep those comments coming. It helps us continue to do our job and become more efficient in providing a service for you, our residents. Another thing that we like to do, as we know, Heart Month is here. It is February, and the Amenia household as a whole takes this month very seriously due to our personal family experience. Sometimes it takes that personal experience to make us work and have that drive for a cause. And for the Kligner family as a whole, it is Heart Month and ensuring that we're doing what we need to do. I know it's trying times. Please follow up with your annual physicals. Continue to, watch what you're eating and doing what's right for your body. Go for a walk. Yes, it's a brisk day out there, but even a walk to the end of the road and back is important. It's important for our bodies to know that we keep good heart healthy, watch what we eat, and keep, exercising and do our regular cholesterol checks. Stop by the, we used to do this to come by the firehouse. We can check your blood pressure. Stop by the town hall, meet you outside, I'll check your blood pressure. But it's important to keep on these tasks. And that is why we take February as blood donations very serious. And we're going to continue that tradition here for our 8th annual blood drive here at the Amenia Town Hall. This year it is Thursday, February 18th, 2021. It's going to be from the hours of 2 to 8 p.m. We are going to be having it here in the gym. We are encouraging by appointment only. Of course, I'll never turn away walk-ins, Walk-ins are going to be based on the room that we have in the capacity that is allowed. We ask that you sign on to NYBC, New York Blood Center.org, or call 1-800-933-2566 and sign up for your appointment. I've had great feedback already from a lot of our residents that have already gone online and signed it up, and I hear it's pretty easy. So let's try to save a life, donate blood. You can make a difference.
And I believe the only door they'll be using is the door on the side of the building.
All the way in the back by the gym. So it's going to be just like we did for the farmer's market. You're going to follow the signs, come in and go around back, and you're going to be safe in the gymnasium, and we're going to be maintaining social distance. Remember to wear your mask. You will have a canteen area, and this year it's going to be a little different. We're going to have bags for you to take it to go. So you're not going to hang out with us for like a half hour and enjoy all the snacks that they gave. It's like 2 cookies, a bag of chips, and a drink this year. But everybody knows the meaning of this cause to the Kligner House, and I do ask you to come out and donate if you can. And if you can't personally, share this information with someone and let them know that we do have a local blood drive right here in the town of Amenia.
Thank you, Dawn. Is that the end of your report?
It is, and when you ask me, it's going to be resolution 11, so I can hit you. What you read.
Reading my mind on Zoom.
I know. Upstairs.
Can I just make one comment? Regarding the public comment request for a broadband committee, I would encourage my colleagues to reach out to any of our counterparts in Pine Plains. They have a very active broadband community, broadband committee there. It's definitely worth an investigation if there are motivated members of the public. So if it's a topic that's of interest to you, you live here in Amenia, and you have some energy or expertise that you would like to lend towards this type of thing, then reach out and let us know, and we can look at we can discuss as a group the value of having a committee here in Amenia for that.
Okay, resolution number 11 of 2021. Resolution authorizing emergency roof repairs at the town of Amenia Highway Garage. Whereas the town of Amenia is the owner of certain real property located in the town of Amenia, New York, identified as 8 Borden Lane, Wassaic, New York, tax grid number 7165010437440. Whereas the town of Amenia Highway Garage is located on the premises. Whereas a recent field inspection of the highway garage roof was conducted on January 25th, 2021 by Precision Roofing Incorporated at the request of the town supervisor. Whereas Nick Mateo, president of Precision Roofing Incorporated, conducted the inspection, which revealed leaks in the roof in 8 different locations, permitting water to come in contact with electrical equipment and circuit breakers, creating a potential fire, I guess that would be fire hazard, and other dangerous and hazardous conditions. Whereas corrective measures must be immediately taken to cure the aforementioned dangerous and hazardous conditions and address the potential fire hazards. Whereas Nick DiMatteo, president of Precision Roofing Incorporated, has recommended to the town supervisor that emergency measures must be performed to the roof to prevent potential fires and further deterioration and damage. Whereas the town has determined there are sufficient funds to pay for such corrective emergency members, now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations above set forth are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. The following town officers and our employees and our professionals are hereby directed to take whatever steps are needed and to coordinate whatever repair work is required to repair the highway garage roof and the aforementioned dangerous and hazardous conditions: town supervisor, town building inspector, code enforcement officer, town clerk, and attorney to the town. 3, the town board authorizes a payment for such funds from the garage CE maintenance budget line in accordance with Precision Roofing Incorporated proposal in exterior 2 the Town of Amenia procurement policy is hereby suspended for the purposes of making such emergency repairs, purchases, and expenditures to address the dangerous and hazardous conditions associated with the roof at the highway garage. Should I make that motion?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Joan.
Discussion?
Go ahead.
Just to add, the estimated cost that was in Precision Roofing's quote was 48,000, is that correct?
No, that's for the complete, that's for the whole roof. That's to
Okay.
replace the roof. To do the repairs is 14,800.
Okay, that was confusing. I see, 14,800, okay.
So how much is in our budget line for maintenance of the highway?
We're gonna have to take the money out of contingency and move it into the garage maintenance line. Because basically the only monies in that particular line are for basic maintenance
I see.
down there.
All right.
Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Samoji.
Yes.
Thank you.
Did you hear me, Dawn?
I heard you loud and clear. Thank you.
Loud and
Michelle.
clear. Resolution number 12, resolution approving hiring of Hudson Valley Appraisal Corporation for appraisal review for Martin Fox Hollow Farm LLC versus Town of Amenia et al. Index number 2020-52031. Whereas there is now pending in Dutchess County Supreme Court a tax SUR proceeding relating to property located at 1039 Fox Hollow Drive, Amenia, New York, identified by grid number 706700332-636, seeking a reduction of the assessment from 36 million to 21 million for a total of 15 million. Whereas the petitioner submitted an appraisal which values the property at 21 million. Whereas the Weebatuck Central School District intervened as a party in the subject proceeding. Whereas the town assessor, attorney to the town, and school district attorney have recommended hiring Hudson Valley Appraisal Corporation, Michael J. Bernholtz, SRA, CCIN, MAI President, to complete a review of petitioner's appraisal, including summary discussions of the data, reasoning, and analysis that were used in the review process to enable the town and school district to engage in effective settlement negotiations with petitioner. Whereas the services to be provided by the appraiser to the town constitute professional services which are exempt from the bidding requirements under General Municipal Law, Section 103. Whereas the fee for the appraisal review is $250 per hour, and the appraiser anticipates it will take 10 to 12 hours. Whereas this Weebatuck Central School District has authorized contribution of up to $1,500 towards the cost of the review appraisal. Now therefore be it resolved that the recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as it fully set forth and adopted herein. To the town supervisor, town assessor, Stenger, Diamond and Glass LLP, attorneys to the town of Amenia are hereby authorized to hire Hudson Valley Appraisal Corporation for up to $1,500 for appraisal review for the property as herein above set forth. Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we accept that.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Joan. Okay, Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Council members Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Samoji.
Yes.
Okay, are there any other matters?
Yeah. Damien and I attended a meeting of the Wastewater Committee on Monday, and they have asked two questions of the board. One which is, would the board fund the task one of the TIG and bond proposal now? which is $2,400 for sewer district delineation, which really means boundaries. I guess it's probably some kind of a survey. They also asked if we could discuss with Ian more about the fundraising abilities of a municipality, and I've done some research on that myself. But let's take them one at a time. Is this board willing to advance $2,400 for task 1, which is the sewer district delineation?
Now, this is part of the proposal from Ty and Bond.
That's right. That's right.
And what we're applying for with the grant.
That's right.
Did everyone receive the latest proposal from Ty and Bond? Does all the board members, do you have that?
We all got it. I know that. I don't know whether everybody's read it, but we all received it.
Well, Aaron sent it to just Vicky Doyle, myself, and Jim Wright. Was it part of our packet today? If it was, I didn't see it.
I've had it since our meeting with the Wastewater Committee on Monday.
Yeah, Aaron sent it out like 30 minutes before that meeting. I'm just wondering if the rest of the board members have seen it.
I have it.
Victoria has it? Okay, so it sounds like everybody has it except for Michelle. Michelle, I'm going to send it to you.
Damien, I haven't seen that either. I don't believe I've seen that.
I have it. I picked it up at the town hall as I can find my way there.
Okay.
But I haven't read it because it's a lengthy document, and I think we need to sit down as a group and discuss all of these large documents that are coming past us.
Yeah, but this was her proposal she already sent, Michelle. She just adjusted the amount from the original proposal. You already have it.
Yeah, there's just, I can maybe, so will the committee spend some time going through the updates that resulted in this latest proposal? I think the largest thing is that when we authorized Erin to apply for a grant, her estimate to do this entire body of work, all 4 tasks, was $22,000. So now that we have a proposal in writing from her firm, that amount has come down from $22,000 to $17,600. Part of the changes that resulted in the reduced cost and scope have to do with, let me not summarize this, but let me just read it. Some scope changes to the type of system that would be evaluated. And then there's also, looks like, some change in scope to task 1. And then what Erin did is she broke out basically rough costs for each of the 4 tasks as part of this. So as you guys know, we authorized Erin to write the Town of Amenia's grant proposal. That's a DEC program, right, Victoria?
Yes.
So DEC has a grant request for grant proposals out now. It's due, I believe, mid-February. And what we have authorized Erin to do is to write a grant proposal in order to receive funds to fund this proposal that we just got. So that's the full background of what this all is.
Okay, so the question is whether or not the town board wants to take money out of the budget to pay for task 1, which is $2,400.
That's correct.
My understanding of the last resolution, and I haven't seen this task 1 or what it is, but
It was
We
in
are-
the original proposal, it's just less,
You have it now, Ian, but go ahead.
Okay, so we authorized them to draft a grant proposal for a fee not to exceed $1,000. Grant proposal, if we were awarded the grant, the grant amount was going to be, I believe, 17,000 and change, and the town would be responsible for approximately 4,000 and change to get us up to the 20,000 mark or $21,000 mark that they, or 20, it was 22, I believe, was the budgeted amount, and that was to come from in-kind services. So that resolution, I believe, approved this with no real out-of-pocket expenses. Now I'm hearing a request for out-of-pocket expenses, which is contrary to what that resolution was about. So I'm just confused.
I can try to answer that to the best of my ability. Jim, jump in here if you want. So I think the first thing is regarding the in-kind contribution. Vicki and I had a conversation with Aaron about what would qualify as that. And Aaron had some good ideas. You know, you could basically track your time as the committee. And if we perform surveys or research or, you know, pretty much anything that was in service of any of these tasks that Aaron had outlined, that time effort would be considered part of our in-kind contribution. So that I thought was very hopeful, good news. It doesn't necessarily have to be cash. Obviously, it could be an in-kind contribution. And then regarding, I don't know that I would describe it as an out-of-pocket expense, Ian. I think of the $17,600 that Erin would need to do this work, which is her portion of the total $22,000, of that amount, $2,400 is basically outlined for phase one of her efforts for this larger feasibility study. So what the committee is asking us to do is to, in advance of receiving notice of the grant award, to go ahead and fund that first phase of her work, just so that the project can get moving. And then if we are awarded the grant later, then we could take that grant money and reimburse ourselves for the sort of, you know, expense that we fronted the project. You know, Vicki, I know you had some concerns about maybe like not having as strong a response from the grant committee if we were seen sort of pre-funding this, but the committee did a little research on that. And the word from Aaron that they got back was that that would not be impacted.
So the only worry that I had was that sometimes granting agencies don't want to pay for work that's already been completed prior to the award. So if we have costs dated from January and the award comes in April, are they going to consider those costs legitimate as part of their project? And as long as they've passed that through, I have no problem moving this along so that if we are awarded, we get reimbursed. So I think sewer district delineation is task one for $2,400. She wants us to go ahead and get started so that the committee can go ahead and get started working also side by side doing volunteer work so that we're not just waiting for the grant award.
Yeah, well, just to clarify that, I didn't. Go ahead, Michelle. Go ahead, Michelle.
Thank you so much. Vicki, that was my concern. If we don't get a grant, we're out that money.
Yeah.
That's my main concern.
That was
really, I'm so out of the loop here with certain people on the board doing everything. I'm just not happy with this situation. And I will listen to Jim Morris what his opinion is, and our attorney, and to Victoria Parati, who's probably researched these things before I make any more decisions on any more monies being spent, period.
Well, we won't be making any decisions tonight because any, we would need to do a resolution to approve the spending of these funds, which we wouldn't do to the next meeting anyway.
That's fine with me, Victoria. I just wanted to express my feelings that half the time I don't know what's being discussed with these people and going on. I'm not even going to get into it anymore.
Well, that's why we're discussing it tonight, Michelle, to bring everybody up to speed so everybody understands exactly what the committee had in mind and what's to do. But we won't be able to authorize this until our next meeting anyway, because we have to do it by resolution.
Right, I understand the resolution part. One of the parts that I don't see why we cannot meet in person in the town hall, safely seated around. I'm stating my opinion, so we can sit down and actually talk to people face to face and see what's actually taking place and what's actually going on. I know the Recreation Committee meets there. All the committees meet in that building. I know they do.
Well, no, all of them don't, Michelle. And if you want to attend town board meetings with me in my office, if you feel more comfortable with that, and then it'll be easier for you to attend the meetings, we can do that also.
I know Dawn Marie has also offered her office to a seat to me in her office too, to do the same thing. But I think we need to talk person to person and figure out what's going on and a lot of things, because I'm finding out things from people in the community who show me things on Amenia's Facebook page, which I was highly offended by. I'm just saying that. I was highly offended. And I just think that we need to discuss things as a group in person. We don't have to be on TV. We can sit there and throw rocks at each other. I don't much care.
Well, we're not going to be doing that.
Well, I know that. I'm just saying, I'm really very annoyed, Victoria. And you know me, Victoria. I'm outspoken. I'm supportive of you. I'm supportive of the town of Amenia, and I'm supportive of the people on the board who are working hard and trying to do things. I just feel that people are excluding me from things, like the Recreation Committee, who doesn't even know what the heck's going on, and certain people are doing things.
Yes, but you need to actually talk to them about it, Michelle.
Well, I would love to.
So can I just, Michelle, to address one of your concerns about any spending of money? You know, I did go out of my way to explain to the Wastewater Committee the general process by which we, request budget, get that put into the annual budget, and then have sort of a consensus among this board on how we are spending money. So, that process happens annually. The Wastewater Committee, or the Housing Committee at the time, did make a request for funding. And unfortunately, we, as the town board, the five of us, we're not able to move that budget request forward this year, particularly because it's been a very challenging budget year. So, I did try to relay the hurdles of, making a sort of ad hoc request for funding outside of the typical budget process. And part of the reason for that process is so that we as a group can, talk about the values and merits of all the money that we spend. So your point's noted.
Okay, is there any other town board comment?
Yeah, I wanted to address the other part of the request from the committee about a fundraising activity. I looked into it today myself, and fundraising activities undertaking to benefit a municipality should be directed and administered by individuals or their private counterparts, or by community groups not affiliated with the municipality. These individuals or groups may, in turn, make a donation to the municipality, which can be tax deductible, or which is tax deductible. But the limitation also applies to towns or villages committees. So a committee, for example, the Wastewater Committee, could not engage in a fundraiser. It would have to be somebody from the town, or a group of people from the town that feel strongly about this and would want to do a fundraiser themselves outside of the town or any committee.
Right.
That's, and Ian, if you have any different information, please tell me, but I don't think so.
And Ian, for what it's worth, I did summarize sort of the generic aspects of the memo you wrote on this topic with regard to a different matter. But, without disclosing the specifics of that other matter, I kind of gave the general gist of your memo to the committee during our Monday meeting. Do you want to summarize that maybe?
Essentially, I think Jim's kind of hit the highlights on that. I was just going to indicate that there is a memo that touches upon these issues that I did draft. Soliciting funds, there really is no authority for it. That's pretty much the sum and substance of the law on that. I've researched this issue countless times.
Twice for this, because Michael Hayes researched it back 10, 15 years ago and came up with the same thing. So we paid 2 lawyers to research this. We know that fundraising isn't allowed by the town board members and by our committees. They are not allowed. And if let's say the Amenia Garden Club wants to throw a fundraiser to do something that the town is unable to afford, then they might use their 501c3 status if it's reasonably in line with what they do anyway. If that's in line with their mission to, let's say, put up signs on the rail trail, no littering signs or whatever, and the town of Amenia doesn't want to pay $15 for signs, then they might fundraise for that and put up the signs themselves, and have us do it. But we can't fundraise, period.
Yeah, well, you didn't pay this lawyer to do it, but I did the research too.
Vicki, even I know that. That's correct. You're very correct. You've got the right facts out there. And listen, maybe I'm talking very loud. I don't know, because I'm on this.
You're fine.
Here.
Go ahead.
But I'm not trying to argue with people, and I know you're working hard and you're trying to do things, but myself, I know we're not permitted to do that fundraising thing because of Vicki Doyle is completely correct in what she says as sitting there as a councilwoman. She knows that. And if you need to, I'm going to say this straight up. Vicki's been on the board for a long time, and she's done research on a lot of these projects and a lot of these things in the town. So she has a wealth of information that some of us who are new on the board may not have. And she's a great contact for that. Victoria, of course, has a wealth of information for that. And, like we go to Eon and stuff like that for things. But if we go to this is why I'm saying we need to get together and discuss things. If we discuss things as a group, not necessarily on the TV, because I'm sure I sound to some people like sour grapes or something, and I'm not. I just want you to know I'm trying to support the town, and if we could sit down together and talk, we would know certain things before we started to investigate certain things.
You can talk one-on-one with anybody on the board.
Sure.
But we can't have, even 3 people on the board speaking at once privately. It's in violation of open meetings law. So anyone you want to talk to one-on-one, you go ahead and do it, because that's legal.
Right,
okay.
I understand that. I'm saying the entire board. We need to come in on a Saturday morning and have
We can't do that unless we advertise the meeting.
Okay, all right. However it has to work, Victoria, you know the right regulations and stuff. I'm just saying that
If you have any questions about anything that was discussed tonight or anything else that you see on Facebook, then there's no reason you can't, pick up the phone and call the board member and ask them, I saw doesn't so, and I'm not sure what it means, or call me or call anyone and ask the question.
Right.
All right, before we put this to bed for the evening, I just want to say that I think that the wastewater project is one of the most important things that we can do. It's long overdue in the town, and particularly in the hamlet of Amenia, where all the businesses are. And I think we should, really try to get this thing done because it's so important. I think it's important to the members of the committee who are so enthusiastic right now about doing it, and I don't want them to lose that enthusiasm. So I think we should take this very seriously and think very hard about it and make a decision.
I agree with you, Jim. I really do agree with you. I know this wastewater thing has been going on since the 50s. This kind of thing's been going on. And I agree with you that we need to take some form of action to resolve it. And I'm in favor of it. I want people to understand I'm in favor of doing something like that.
Well, we're also fortunate that our elected officials are also very supportive of us and want to help us in any way they can. Okay, are there any other town board comments?
Got it. Comment. I have been a liaison for the Amenia Housing Board, and I apologize in advance, Michelle, for throwing some numbers at the town board. I did email and I put them into the chat sessions. They have gotten a quote for getting some postcards printed and mailed so that we could alert the residents of Amenia that there will very soon be a survey online that they can provide the town of Amenia with their issues about how hard it is for them to find affordable housing or not in Amenia and where they would like to be. All the kind of questions we've been thinking we need more input from the residents themselves. So the cost that we got from Mailing Works, I've been talking about this for a while, but I finally got a firm quote from Mailing Works. And that was $289.90 to print two sides of a 4.25 by 6-inch regular postcard, two sides, color. There's a $12 setup fee, and for them to prepare the mailing and deliver it to the 3 post offices for a reduced rate, postage rate of, let's see, it was 16.8 cents per postcard. The total amount would be $961.54. So I am looking on their behalf to go ahead and authorize the expenditure of $961.54 to go ahead and get this mailer out, printed and mailed, so that they can start getting their survey answered.
Thank you, Vicki. I know you've been working on that for a long time. I know you've been in discussion with it. I've heard it all, and I agree with you. It has to get out to the community so we fully understand what people are saying and thinking and doing. And I truly appreciate all your hard work, Vicki. You work very hard on this board, and I appreciate it.
Now, I apologize for not getting this information to you. I had a real tricky time trying to figure out how to reach Tally Ho, really, because there are people who live in Dover. They have a 12592 zip code, but I didn't want to mail it to all of the Dover people with the 12592, only the ones who live in Amenia. But
Okay, I was going to say, do you have their names and addresses? Do you have them now?
It's a postal service that they're going to do to all postal customers. So I don't need their addresses. The post office is going to handle that at this reduced rate, this bulk rate. So we don't need their individual addresses. But thank you for we're going to do that.
Okay, Vicki, you just need to do a voucher and give it to Marge.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
We have funds in our postage line.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody was fine and they can keep moving forward.
You can keep moving forward, and I'll be happy to sign that voucher, Vicki.
Thank you. Okay. That's all.
Are there any other town board comments? If not, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for potential contract liability issues. The town clerk is excused. We'll be going into executive session.
Sorry, Victoria.
What?
Sorry. I had a quick comment before we go to executive session.
Okay.
I was fielded some questions about the tax increase in response to some questions I received via Facebook. During that, a couple of things came up. One was about streetlights that are currently out. Victoria, I know we're in the process, or NYSEG, we authorized NYSEG to go ahead and replace every single streetlight in town. They couldn't do it last year because they were all booked up. Do we have a sense of when they will be forming that swap this year?
Sometime in the spring. I don't have an exact date.
Okay, so I mean,
no, it'll be probably within the next few months.
Okay, so typically we would notify them if there's a light out.
You can still notify them now if there's a light out. There's a number on the pole. You just need to give them the number on the pole.
Okay. We'll go ahead and do that. I did also receive another vote of request for this town board to investigate the feasibility of a dog park somewhere in town. Just wanted to relay that. I know we talked about that a little bit when we're doing the Wastewater Park review, but just wanted to relay that I've heard something about that again. And that's it. The question, there was one question that I received about the water rates. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't tax related. I was not equipped to be able to speak to the details about that. But, obviously we did vote as a board to authorize the water district to change the way that they bill, specifically around what the sort of threshold is before you start being billed per gallon. And Victoria, I don't know if you wanted to maybe just sort of...
Excuse me, you don't get billed per gallon.
Billed for usage beyond the certain threshold, sorry.
Yeah, behind the threshold of 5,000 gallons is $5 for each additional 1,000 gallons.
So I didn't know if you wanted to just summarize sort of, what the impetus was, what we were hearing from the water district that caused us to vote to authorize that rate increase.
Well, we weren't hearing anything from the water district. What we were looking at is trying to pay the bills from the water district. We've had issues with infrastructure. We also had a problem with the pump in well 4A. We had to pull the pump and had to make repairs on that. And we've been talking about the poor condition of pump house on Lavelle Road, and how we've had several times during the year where we've lost electricity because the panel box is corroded. There's a lot of structural issues with the building, and that's why I asked the town engineer to go take a look at it, and he's working on a cost estimate. it isn't just the building, it's the electrical. The generator there is 18 years old. It costs the town quite a bit of money to repair it because the parts are old and the parts have to be searched for because of the age of the generator. And also the slab that it's sitting on is not in very good shape either. So the water district is a special district. It needs to pay for itself. It needs to be able to pay its bills. And in order to do that, we've had to make some changes in the way the water billing is done. So the actual fee for the water billing has not changed. What did change is instead of one fee for up to 12,000 gallons, we changed it to 5,000 gallons. And then for each additional 1,000 gallons, it would be $5 more. The reason for this is so that we can pay the bills and that we can address any deteriorating infrastructure in the water district. Over the years, I mean, none of the expenses for the water district have gone down, they've gone up. Because it costs more for the lab tests, it costs more for everything. But our biggest issue right now is the infrastructure, particularly the pump house in Lavelle Road, which is has deteriorated and is a danger to the control system that's in there that controls the water, the well. We need to have the correct and safe infrastructure so that the wells will continue to run, the electricity won't be going off, and the control system won't break down. I mean, we need to have a functioning pump house.
Yes, we do.
With appropriate electric and control system in place. So that was the reasoning behind not changing the rate, but changing the gallons that the rate covered. Most other, a lot of other water districts, they actually charge per gallon. And, we chose not to do that. We tried to do it as easily as possible, but the water district has to pay for itself, and the water district has to be able to have enough money brought in either through taxes or water usage to pay for what needs to be repaired and also the monthly bills.
And I think that was the important part, Victoria. So the water district is a special district, just like the fire districts, just like each of the lighting districts. They have the power to levy taxes, a special district, and as Victoria indicated, they have to generate revenue and cover their own expenses. You're not able to say transfer money from the town general fund to the water district, right?
No, that would be illegal.
Right.
So,
and Victoria, excuse me, Victoria, about a year ago, Jim and I went around and we did see that pump house down on Laval Avenue. We did see it. We did see that it was a mess and a wreck, and there was problems with it. And I think I know we came back to the town board one evening when we had a meeting, and we expressed our concerns about the infrastructures of the water district, and in that pump house in particular. So I'm in favor of whatever we have to do to get that pump house up and running properly. And I understand why we voted to have to do that with the water bill, because we expressed, like you just said, that it has to pay for itself. It's illegal for us to pay for it, so it has to pay for itself. So I know it's a concern for the folks who live down there, and be patient with us, and we're trying to do our very best for you. So I just want to thank everyone for that. Okay? Thank you so much.
Michelle, I agree that that place was in bad shape when we saw it. It's got to be even worse now. So it's got to be replaced. No doubt about it.
No, you're right, Jim. No doubt about it.
Is there any other town board comment? Okay, I believe I started to make a motion. Make a motion to go into executive session with the town attorneys, and the town clerk is excused.
Second.
It's 8:29, and confirming Supervisor Prodi is going to take the minutes.
Yes,
Supervisor Prodi?
yes.
Councilpersons Doyle? Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Emoji?
Yes.
Have a great evening, everyone.